The question is that the bill be now read a second time. Mr. Zainal Sapari.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I would like to declare my interest in this bill as Chairman of the Tripartite Cluster for Cleaners, or TCC. The graciousness of a society can be measured by how it treats the less fortunate in its midst. It would be a hollow victory for us to achieve success as a nation if we, as a society, do nothing to help the less fortunate when we have the means to do so. A vulnerable group that needs our help is the 40,000 resident cleaners who work tirelessly to ensure that we live in an environment which is clean, safe and conducive for all of us and our families to live, work and play. For the longest time, the basic salaries earned by our resident cleaners stagnated and remained low. Coupled with the lack of bonus payout, our local cleaners had little left for savings after spending on local necessities. Other than statutory employment benefits, most employers also do not provide them with added welfare benefits or incentive. Overall, our cleaners had little job security and would have difficulty to save for a rainy day. The plight of our resident cleaners has not gone unnoticed. Through the efforts of the TCC, things have been improving for them, with concrete steps being taken to improve their lot. In 2014, members of the House passed the Environmental Public Health Amendment Bill, which boosted resident cleaners' salary through the introduction of mandatory progressive wage model, or PWM in short. In 2016, the problem of wage stagnation and wage reset were partially addressed when TCC recommended a sustainable wage increase that would see the income of our general local cleaners grow at an average of 4.6% per annum over 6 years. Coupled with the Workfare Income Supplement Scheme, many resident cleaners today are seeing an increase in their take-home pay and CPF savings. In 2017, the cleaning industry, as part of the environmental services sector, had also developed an industry transformation map that will provide a blueprint to transform the industry, with workers playing an integral role. A key strategy identified in the ITM was the need to sustain a strong and productive cleaning workforce by putting in place structures and processes to ensure workers in environmental services are ready for new jobs, relevant with new skills and resilient to new ways of working. Efforts to help the vulnerable workers in the cleaning industry are still a work in progress. Today, we are again presented with an opportunity to make a difference to the life of this vulnerable group of workers. The passing of the amendment in this bill will be another historic and landmark change for our resident cleaners. It will put an end to the common work grievance of many resident cleaners of not being paid bonuses. One of the amendments of the Environmental Public Health Act is to mandate the payment of an annual bonus to Singaporean and permanent resident cleaners. This amendment recognizes that part of the industry's transformation will be underpinned by productive and well-skilled workers, and this compulsory PWM bonus would be a great boost to sustain a strong and highly motivated cleaning workforce. I am in full support of the bill, which will make the PWM bonus a requirement and condition of NEA's licensing condition regime. I am heartened that the PWM bonus is not contingent on the worker's performance and must be paid so long as the resident cleaner meets the criteria set out by the TCC. This will ensure our resident cleaners will have a day or two every year for them to look forward to a bonus payout. It is our hope that the PWM bonus will serve as a motivational tool to encourage workers to stay longer with the same employer, as well as incentivize employers to invest in training their cleaners. As cleaners scale the PWM wage ladder, the rising wages will be accompanied by higher productivity and growth for the industry. Even though the cleaning industries have been given ample notice on the implementation of the PWM bonus, which will take effect in January 2020, I would like to propose to NEA to give the employers a grace period of 1 year, where the employers would be given a warning should they fail to comply with the mandatory PWM bonus. However, full restitution must still be made to the affected cleaners if the employers fail to pay them the bonus. To provide greater clarity on the technicalities of the PWM bonus payment, the TCC Secretariat will issue an addendum report and FAQ later this year. Efforts to improve the life of our cleaners cannot be the sole responsibility of the industry stakeholders represented by TCC. While we may have heard of the common saying, it takes a village to raise a child, I would say it takes a whole society to play our part to help our cleaners have better lives for them and their families. Improving the wages and the skill set of our cleaners are just the tip of the iceberg of what we can do to help them. While the PWM and payment of PWM bonus will be made mandatory, unfortunately, TCC cannot mandate service buyers to shoulder the same responsibility in their procurement of cleaning services. To all service buyers, my message is simple. You can buy services, but you cannot outsource your responsibility. In my engagement with many cleaning companies, one common feedback is that the practice of cheap sourcing is still rampant among service buyers, both in public and private sector. The 1,300 cleaning companies will then respond by lowering their tender prices, with possibly putting in suicide bids to win contracts, much to the detriment to the whole cleaning industry in the long run. With rising overheads and business costs, the only way to remain afloat is to pay the workers at the minimum PWM wages and not to give any other welfare benefits. This can lead to a vicious cycle where the level of service is compromised, when service providers cut corners to remain in business and the workers would have low morale. With very low margin, there is little incentive for cleaning companies to invest in technology or training. I would also like to urge all service buyers, whether they are commercial, industrial building owners, private condominiums, or government agencies, to work with their potential service providers to ensure the tender prices commensurate with the level of service expected, the investment in technology and training needed, and at the same time without compromising welfare of the cleaners. This requires service buyers to truly best source beyond paying lip service. Service buyers can discourage cheap sourcing by not awarding to the lowest bidder. This will send a clear signal to industry that it is quality and not price that matters. In addition, in line with this year's NWC recommendation, service buyers can do their part to help these cleaners by inserting a clause in their tender that the cleaners' wages and benefits must be no worse off if they intend to change their service provider. Cleaning companies must also do the right thing to ensure the long-term sustainability of the industry. Avoid suicide bid. Discourage cheap sourcing. Walk away if winning the contract entails you cutting corners for you to survive. For the rest of us, we can also do our part to make the work of our vulnerable elderly cleaners easier by not littering, returning our trays, exercising our civic consciousness in using public amenities, and many others. We live and breathe in the same space, and it is our collective responsibility to create a pleasant environment for ourselves and our loved ones. The manpower challenges faced by the environmental services industry is real as we face an aging population. As such, we need to take concrete steps to transform the industry into a technologically driven and skilled sector ready to meet the demands of the future. Hence, I am also supportive of another key proposal of the bill, which is to introduce a framework to implement the District Pneumatic Waste Conveyance System, DPWCS. This system will rely on air pressure to convey waste via pipes to a bin center, eliminating the need to manually haul refuse. This leads to greater productivity. It will also eliminate these amenities such as pests and odors that may arise from open refuse collection and improve the livability of residents in the direct vicinity. I understand that the DPWCS has been implemented in new towns such as Bidadari and Tampines North. The proposed amendments will facilitate its implementation in areas with private development such as the future Kampung Bugis area. Nevertheless, I would like to ask what the plans are to mitigate the problems faced by other countries that had used the DPWCS. What has been the experience of other cities using DPWCS in terms of the cost effectiveness and the life cycle of the system? What contingency would be put in place should the DPWCS fail to operate for whatever technical reason? Such problem, if faced in private development, can be costly to rectify and may place a huge financial burden on the MCST. What support could the government provide to ensure the DPCWS in private development can be sustainably managed in the long run? Mr. Deputy Speaker, in Malay. Kebanyakan pekerja pembersihan tempatan biasanya tidak dapat menikmati bonus gaji tahunan kerana di dalam Akta Pekerjaan, bayaran gaji tambahan tahunan yang juga dikenali sebagai bonus gaji bulan ke-13 tidak diwajibkan. Setiap akhir tahun, Pusat UCare NTUC menerima banyak pertanyaan daripada pekerja-pekerja pembersihan tempatan yang bertanya tentang mengapa mereka tidak mendapat sembarang bonus. Golongan inilah yang benar-benar berharap mendapat bonus untuk membantu membiayai kos sara hidup keluarga mereka. Dengan itu, saya sokong pindaan kepada akta ini kerana ia akan mewajibkan syarikat-syarikat pembersihan untuk memberi bonus model gaji progresif kepada setiap pekerja pembersihan tempatan. Walaupun jumlahnya hanya sekadar 2 minggu gaji, ini adalah langkah permulaan yang penting kerana ia memberi jaminan bahawa salah satu golongan pekerja bergaji rendah akan mendapat bonus setiap tahun. Jaminan sedemikian tidak ada dalam pekerjaan-pekerjaan lain bagi golongan tersebut. In conclusion, notwithstanding my concerns on the DPWCS, these amendments are steps in the right direction. And we must continue our tripartite efforts to engage the government, businesses and workers to create an industry that is ready to tackle the challenges of the future. Thank you.